for Cambridge Associates. He has a BS from Howard University. So I saw a lot of students from Howard in here, where he majored in electrical engineering. He has an MBA from Harvard University. He has over 13 years of investment experience. He's managed a hedge fund portfolios on a discretionary basis for more than 8 years. He leads hedge fund manager idea generation and oversight, and his prior experience includes equity risk management products for UBS AG in Hong Kong while he was attending business school. And also he worked at JP Morgan Chase Bank in private equity investing. And with that, I would like to introduce Mr. Keon Holmes.
Thank you, Kezia. It's very kind of you to introduce me. Great to be with you. I'm a managing director of Cambridge Associates, one of the corporate partners. We're an asset management firm in Boston. And I'm just very excited about this program, about all the participants. And as a proud HBCU alum myself, really excited for all of you and the opportunity that you have before you. We're just thrilled that you're interested in this program and that you're going to be participating in the program. There's a huge opportunity within our industry now to address the numbers that Kezia just presented to you a moment ago. Huge lack of diversity and a tremendous industry for wealth creation. So we hope that you all take advantage of it to reduce the wealth gap and to create opportunities for communities of colors. I'm just really confident that you're going to enjoy the summer series and the fall summit in November. And I wish you all the best of success and luck as you apply for the scholarships and the internship programs. I think whether or not you enter the industry, I think you're going to find these programs, the summer series, really valuable and hopefully of use to you and your career path. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Kezia, and wish you all a wonderful, wonderful evening.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Holmes, for those incredible remarks. We have any students in here who are enrolled at HBCUs. I would love to see that in the comments section. Let's see, shout out your HBCU. I'm here in Washington, D.C., so I run into Bison all the time. In fact, I like to think of myself as an honorary Bison. All right, I'm seeing FAMU, Talladega. All right, oh, it's coming in hot and heavy, Dillard. Okay, Alcorn, Miles. And I am a proud graduate of Christopher Newport University. So if there are any students who are attending PWIs or MSIs, right, minority serving institutions or predominantly white institutions, shout out your institution. We would love to see it. Where are you enrolled? Who has the opportunity to experience your Black genius? Semester to semester, okay, Texas Tech, okay, I see Indiana, Montclair, University of Maryland, all right, Mizzou, awesome. All right, well, let's keep going. Next slide, please, Shoy. Thank you. So over the past couple of weeks, you have received telephone calls, emails, probably some text messages from the CIE team, and it is my pleasure to be able to introduce them here. They have their cameras on so you can match the headshots to the actual people. They have really put in long hours to make sure that you not only got to the application, but also through the application so that you could be here for this incredible opportunity. So first, I'm going to introduce Troy Blyther. Troy, if you could wave your hand. Troy Blyther, that's my ace, my right hand. So she has really been leading the effort to get those of you all who are applying for scholarships, again, through the application process. I would like to introduce Quincy Inman, who's a relationship manager with CIE. Quincy, if you could wave your hand. Quincy is an incredible, yep, he's an incredible asset to the team, and he has been making calls, making emails. He's our graphics guy, but he's also the person who's been crunching the data. So he knows all about everybody who's in this chat. And then finally, we have Edward Sanders, who is a relationship manager with the team. And Edward was solely responsible for reaching out to those of you all who applied for the internship. So we absolutely love having Edward to the team. And so let's give a big shout out, a big thank you to our core team members who led our outreach efforts. Thank you all. Let's go to, yes, round of applause. Let's go to the next slide, please. All right, so scholarship selection process. Let's talk through it. So now that you have completed your application, what comes next, right? You're in the orientation, and we're going to talk through what happens between now and August, September, potentially after that. Well, your applications have been read. So there was a committed group of 25 volunteers from the financial industry, from the asset management fields, who read and also scored your applications. And now we are in the phase where we are ranking applications in order to determine where you all stand within the 330 plus. So you see 381 completed applications, where you all rank within that standing. After that, you're going to go through an FAO verification process. So once applications have been ranked, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're selected. Now we have to verify that everything that you said in your application is absolutely 100% correct. And what we do is we partner with your institutions in order to verify things on your transcript. And this is specifically relevant to those of you all who applied for the scholarship. And I know there are folks on this Zoom who applied for both, and we're going to talk about the internship in just 1 second. But right now we're talking about the scholarship. So you submitted transcripts, you submitted other information. Your university or college is going to help us verify that. And some of the critical information that we're looking for: are you a US citizen? Do you at least have a 2.7 GPA? Are you full-time enrolled? So that means you have a full course load, and your academic advisor, your financial aid advisor, can vouch for that for us. And also that you're attending an accredited 4-year college or university. And so that means that your college has its accreditation, and we're able to verify that through UNCF and also through our partners. And then finally, you must be a rising sophomore or a rising junior. I know we've got a lot of questions on that, because when you applied, that means you would have been a college freshman and also a college sophomore, but you must be going to that next level, okay? So rising sophomore or rising junior qualifies you to be considered for a scholarship. So once we get the FAO verification and we're able to verify where you all are, again, all of these different credentials, then at that point, we will select who our finalists are. And you will hear from somebody on the team. So it'll be Edward, Quincy, or Troy. They will notify you that you are a finalist. And at that point, we will be making our final selections on 37 individuals who will receive the scholarship. Okay, so that will be our inaugural cohort. At the end of this presentation, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions, but at this time, if you have some questions you just want to throw into the chat, my team members will be able to assist by potentially answering some questions there, okay? We're going to move on to the internship. And 2 of my colleagues who are SPDP, and that just means Scholarship and Programs Professional Development, so SPDP team for Lighted Pathways, Melissa Jordan, who's a director there, and Jamise Carell, who's a relationship manager, they're going to be managing the internship piece. And it's important that you remember these names, and we will also share their email addresses with you, because they're going to be the people, the women, reaching out to you in the event that they need additional information and also about the process. So while you see my face, Quincy's face, Troy's face, and also Edward's face, we're going to be managing the scholarships, and these 2 beautiful women, talented women, are going to be managing the internship piece. Again, we're going to send you their names and their email addresses via email. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, let's talk through the internship selection process, which differs slightly from the scholarship side. So for interns, we are going to be reviewing resumes. So you should have uploaded your resume as part of the process, right? Part of the application process. If there are any questions about what you submitted, Melissa and Jamise are going to be reaching out to you to get that clarification. They are going to be working with a team of individuals in order to score those resumes, and they're also going to rank the resumes, all right? Once they rank the resumes and they reach out to you to make sure that your application is complete, they're going to make their selection for the cohort, all right? Once they have made their selection for the cohort of interns, before you even meet with an employer, they're going to prepare you, right? They're going to prepare you to be a successful candidate in the interview process. And what that means is they're going to help you with your resume. They're going to help you with your interviewing skills. They're going to help you ask, questions that are super relevant, pick out those skills, right, within your resume that may be applicable to whatever job or whatever industry you want to enter. So you will have that hands-on support, all right? Once they prep you, then they'll have discussions with our partners on where potentially you could be placed with our partners. So we've already talked about, again, our generous sponsors, our generous donors who have partnered with us in order to make this program possible. They're going to take a look at those companies and they're going to match you with companies where it makes sense. And then you'll be invited to attend a student leadership conference. And this student leadership conference is phenomenal. I've gone for the last 5 years. And during this conference, they talk about, again, resume writing, they talk about interview prep, but they also talk about things like technical writing, right? So like, how do you write the perfect email in order to get the best response? And how do you manage your correspondence? But then they also talk about critical topics, such as imposter syndrome. What does it feel like to be a Black employee in a majority workspace? And you get an opportunity to not only learn, but also build relationships with your peers. And then after that, you will start your internship. And our partners are in Boston, and this is stipend supported. We will cover travel to the Student Leadership Conference, but we'll also cover travel to Boston. So all expenses will be paid, they're covered. Again, our donors are 100% committed, and they just want you to show up and be your best and work your hardest. And then the program ends. The dates for this are going to be shared with you via email by Melissa and also Janice. So as you can see from the right side of the slide, we had 119 completed applications. And at this time, we have 25 internships available, okay? So that's at this time. Let's move on to the next slide. All right, so what do you do in the meantime, in between time? Well, you're stuck with us. You're gonna be part of the summer series. I'll be excited for all 256 of you. The summer series is going to be absolutely amazing, and you are already started it. So start with orientation, which you're in right now. And after that, there will be a summer series session on July 7th about conflict resolution in the workplace. July 14th, we're going to be talking about what is investment management, right? So you may be tuning in, you might be a nursing major, you might be a political science major. I was a political science major. I was an English minor, so you might be an English minor, but there was something about this opportunity that piqued your interest. And so we're going to have a conversation about what is this field, right? When you hear terminology like securities and ETFs and front of the house, back of the house, like what does this all mean? We're going to talk about that, but we're also going to contextualize what that means as Black college students who are interested in a field that is right now very, very white. So we're going to have wonderful panelists who are going to give you the 411. So that's a 90s throwback. They're going to give you all the information straight up, and you'll be able to ask questions and interact. We have a wonderful facilitator. Her name is Michelle Shell. We'll send that information out to you in advance. So that will be July 14th. And this session is mandatory. So you must attend this session if you are interested in still being considered for the scholarship and also the internship. July 21st, career planning masterclass. So how do you begin to really map out what your professional future might be? July 28th, we're back talking about investment. We've talked about the what, now we're going to talk about the why on July 28th. So what is it and why should you be a part of it? And we have assembled an amazing panel to step through, okay, why did they choose this field? How did they advance in this field? How do they build relationships in this field? And why are they excited about introducing you to it? So that's going to take place July 28th, and that is mandatory. And then finally, we have August 4th, that is Resume Writing and Interview Skills Workshop. Now you'll see here highlighted that it says that it is highly recommended. But it's important before we talk about November that we talk about that in addition to attending the 3 mandatory sessions, 1, the orientation, and 2, where it says CFA, right? So what is investment management? Why investment management? Those 3 are mandatory. You also have to choose 2 additional sessions, okay? So that's going to be the conflict resolution in the workplace, the career planning masterclass, resume writing and interview skills workshop, that's 3. You have to choose 2. Those 2 that you have to attend, we will be taking attendance in order to be considered for the scholarship and also the internship. The last requirement is an invitation to a November summit. This will be a virtual summit. And this summit, we're going to have conversations about asset management, financial industry, Black wealth creation. We're going to talk about like all of the different things that you may be hearing in the news in regard to investing, but then we're also going to talk about some things that you may not hear in the news, like endowments. So that's going to be in November, and you'll get that invitation closer to the date. Okay, let's move on to our next slide. So when we got started, one of the things that I said, right, was that time is a non-replenishable asset. And once you spend it, you can never get it back. And so for this cohort of amazingly brilliant scholars, we are going to be focusing on WP time, which is wealthy people's time. And I know some of you all have probably heard of CP time, right? CP time, at least I have, colored people's time, which is normally an excuse to be late. And that's something that I don't subscribe to. I always tell scholars that if somebody is late, just send them a bill because they're wasting your most valuable asset, right? So we want to be on WP time, which is wealthy people's time, which means we are spending our time in a way that yields maximum return. So with that, we're going to talk about absence and also tardiness. So in regard to excused absences, so medical, work, family emergencies, school-related activities may constitute an excused absence. And the reason why I say may is that we're going to evaluate each absence that you all submit on a case-by-case basis, and it absolutely must be accompanied by supporting documentation, okay? Supporting documentation, we need to have that document, and Quincy Inman is going to be working with me to evaluate that information, okay? Also for tardiness, anything after 15 minutes is considered late. So if you come in after 15 minutes, you want a 16th minute, considered late. And after 3 tardies, that is considered 1 excused absence, okay? Or 1 unexcused absence. And I'm gonna pause here because since Quincy is gonna be managing this work, I wanna turn it over to Quincy. Quincy, is there anything that I missed that you wanna include here?
Yes, as far as excused absences go, a lot of you have already done a wonderful job of emailing me and explaining that you're either in an internship right now and you're becoming late. I've already garnered some documentation. Documentation, as Kezia noted, is key. It is absolutely key. If you have a class and you can't prove that, that will be an unexcused absence. And that documentation needs to be on your typical school letterhead from the school registrar with the school schedule. I will look at each one of these documentations at length to determine if it will be an excused absence or unexcused absence. So I imagine that I will be a lot of your all best friend.
Thank you so much, Quincy. And before we turn it over to Q&A, I'm going to ask Troy, is there anything that you want to add, anything that I may have overlooked?
Nothing from me. I do see that there are a couple of students who are raising their hands and things like that. We just want to make it clear that if you have questions, please pop it in the chat. It'll just make it a little easier for all of us to get to you and make sure that we answer it the best way possible. We won't be using the mics just yet during this session. So please pop your questions in the chat. That's probably the best way to get your question answered.
Okay, thank you, Troy. And with that, I will ask now if there are any questions that you all have that haven't been answered in this presentation or by my colleagues, Edward and Troy and Quincy in the comments section.
Can we just start talking?
You should pop your questions in the chat. All right. Do cameras need to be on during the sessions? We will get back to you on that. We're still working through the logistics of having 200+ people on the Zoom. So you will definitely hear from Quincy or Troy via email regarding that guidance. seeing here are the internships, virtual, hybrid, or in person. These internships are going to be in person and they're going to be in Boston. So your travel expenses are covered. And at this time, right, we know that the world can change just like that from March 2020. But at this time, we're planning for interns to be located in Boston, Massachusetts, and working with the company in which they were matched. All right, when will the scholarship selection process end? And when will our cohort be announced? We intentionally did not include dates because a lot of our FAO verification process depends on the responsiveness of your school. And so over the next 3 weeks, we are going to be reaching out to you, and we may ask you if you could be partners with us in getting in touch with your financial aid officers. Usually they're very responsive, but sometimes financial aid officers are even more responsive when students visit the office or when a student emails and says, hey, we really need this information verified. So we definitely plan to make decisions before November, but hopefully much, much, much sooner than that. Okay, they're coming through really fast. Trying to get them really quick. So if there's any that you think I should get, I'm trying to read it too. Any questions that jump out?
Yeah, are permanent residents also considered for the scholarship?
Let me get back to you on that answer right now. U.S. citizens, but I will check on permanent residents, and we will include that in the FAQ document that goes out after this session concludes. Okay. Will there be an interview process? Yes, you will absolutely be interviewed by the host organizations. And the great news about that is that you are going to get prepped by our SBDP partners. So that's Melissa Jordan and also Janice Mitchell, who we showed in earlier slides. They're going to work with you individually. Then also you'll get an opportunity to attend a student leadership conference. And that entire conference it's scheduled in such a way, or it's curated in such a way where it prepares you in order to show up as a super competitive candidate for the positions that they have available. But yes, you absolutely will need to interview for the internship before you are selected by your potential employer. Okay. Anything else? What is the difference between scholarship and internship eligibility? Okay, so for the scholarship, we are looking for 2.7 GPA, U.S. citizen, full-time enrolled, accredited four-year college or university, rising sophomore, rising junior. That's for the scholarship and also the internship. But for scholarships, we're going to be reading through your essays. So a lot of the selection process is going to center around exactly what you said, how you responded to the question prompts there. Additionally, we're going to be looking at your leadership. Your community service is also super important to us, and your overall package, how you presented, how you showed up in the application and writing. For the internship process, yes, there are those baseline verification. We need to go through those baseline eligibility requirements, but we're also going to be looking at how your skills may translate into the positions that become available. So if you're listening to this and you apply for an internship and you are a poli-sci major, or let's say you work as a cashier at a local retail store, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, that won't exclude you just because you're not a junior accountant, let's say at a local business in your neighborhood. We're going to look for transferable skills, right? So cashiering, right? That is you doing mathematical computations throughout the day in order to make sure that your cash register is balanced on a regular basis. Entrepreneurs, right? That's showing initiative, right? You're going out there, you're trying to find customers, you're creating value for your customers on a daily basis in order to make sales so you can cover your expenses. Same thing with, let's say, in retail, maybe you work the floor, right? I work the floor. My very first job was at Toys R Us, you know, RIP Toys R Us. I don't think there's any more left. So, but I had to go out on the floor. I had to manage inventory, right? So that required that I keep track of products. make sure that they're shelved correctly, make sure that they're counted correctly, make sure that I'm reporting, make sure I'm responsible, making sure that I'm a great customer service representative for the people who are asking me questions. And so we're going to be looking for those skills that are translatable and making sure that we score those resumes appropriately. Right. So scholarship, you submitted your transcript as an attachment, and for the internship, you submitted your resume as an attachment. We're going to be looking for that resume and making, again, determinations on how we believe your skills fit and potential job opportunities moving forward. Okay. And we will be working with some of our partners, some of our donors and sponsors to look over and review that information as well to make sure that we're aligned with whatever their vision may be.
We do have a question saying, I'm not sure if you responded to this already. Can people who only apply for the scholarship still apply for the internship as of now?
Right now, the applications for both are closed. They're closed and you cannot apply for either one of them. However, we do have 65 people who should be on this chat, right? Because we're not late, you know, we're all showing up on time. We're not absent, we're all present, right? So 65 people on here applied for both the scholarship and the internship. It is possible for you to both get awarded the scholarship and also be offered an internship. Okay, so it's possible for you to do both, but now that both applications have closed, we will have to get back to you and if there's any future opportunities for internships. But at this time, those two opportunities are separate.
Another question about the travel expenses to and from Boston. Just to clarify, they want to also know, is housing paid for?
Yes, housing, travel, if you want to come by plane, train, automobile, we tend to fly students to their destinations. And so all of that will be taken care of. Your flight, your lodging will be taken care of. And this is also stipend supported. So that means you will be compensated for your labor.
Will the Zoom sessions be on the same Zoom link?
No. So you definitely want to make sure that you are checking your email. And Quincy sent out an email and he said, make sure that you copy paste this Zoom link and you put it in your own calendar. So whether you're using Google, Outlook, maybe you're just using your good old memory, right? So you want to make sure that you record that information and you have it available. Will not be the same Zoom link for every single meeting. We're also going to be sending out push notifications, but we are all young adults here, right? So we are counting on you to be responsible. So when we send you that information, we are counting on you to make sure that you put those links into your calendars and you show up on time and you remain present throughout the duration of the session.
Do you have the dates for the internship? So are there any specified dates for the internship and the internship program?
The specific dates are going to be sent out via email by either Melissa Jordan or Janice Mitchell.
We have several questions about when will the final decisions be made on scholarship candidates?
All right. Well, we're going to take one more question after this, but I want to reiterate that the FAO verification process is very tenuous. So when I say that, that means that it's really going to be reliant upon our ability to get in touch with all of your schools in order to make an expedient decision. We will make the decision before November. Our goal is to make it much sooner than that, but we cannot select a cohort without first verifying all of the eligibility requirements are true for you as a student. Okay, so definitely before November, hopefully much sooner before that. You will be in, we will be in touch with you as we go through that process if we need your support, and we will definitely notify those candidates who have been moved forward to the finalist process and those candidates who have not. So we'll take one more question, and then after that, you will be receiving an email from Quincy, and he will be sending out an FAQ document. This session is recorded, so we see all of your questions, and we're going to make sure that we take those questions that have been asked several different times and put them in that document and circulate it for your review, okay? So we're going to take just one more question.
I'm seeing a lot of questions about the scholarship. Is it merit-based or need-based? I don't know if you answered that already, but I'm continuing to see that question, so I think they need to know.
The way in which this program was structured is for this scholarship to be merit-based, but we will also be looking at financial need, but this is a merit-based scholarship. And so your ability to really communicate why you are the best fit for this program will earn you a higher ranking. And so with that being said, we will work with your institutions, and let's say you don't have any financial need and we move forward with the merit-based scholarship requirement, then at that time that award will be sent to your school, and it will be your school's responsibility to disperse the award to you. And that's important to know. So I want to make sure that you all understand how scholarships work with UNCF, because we do not make any direct payments to students. So you will not receive a check from us. You will not receive a direct deposit or a wire transfer from us. However, what we will do is we will forward your scholarship in the event that you are selected to your institution, and your institution will manage depositing those funds into your account. And that's why it's so important for us now to begin establishing that relationship with them, so that we can make sure, one, that we get the information that we need to make our determination, but then also when you all are selected, that you can get your award expeditiously. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us